had to make sure I pause a little bit because every time you go live on YouTube, when replay watchers watch it back, it's like whatever you doing and it catches a moment before, so it's kind of weird, but whatever. Let me get situated. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Thursday. Tasha checking in with another video, and today's video is going to be the review of Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 2, Hunger Games of Love. If it is your first time joining me on the live, welcome. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the Redefine Me channel, y'all. Okay, so we about to get started on this show. I actually am not new to Love is Blind. This is a new show alert that I had picked up, but I've seen Love is Blind several times, several seasons before, and I decided this season to review it because I was like, this is going to be kind of interesting. The other seasons was interesting, but this one got a little bit of punch in it this season, okay? So we're going to get started with the review of these couples. Now, if I look down, I take notes. Notes is just to keep me on track, okay? All right, y'all. So we open up on this episode. The men are in the men living quarters, and they are still hyped up after day one, right? They talking about their connections, people that they like, things like that. Now, I will say, Matt is weird, right? Really weird to me. However, I feel like he is playing the game well because he doesn't socialize with them. He doesn't congregate a whole lot about who his connections is or nothing. You not going to know what's going on with him. He be in his little book, taking notes, writing, studying, whatever he doing, but he does not give you much of anything. And I think that that is the way that it should be on this show. A lot of them get in these men and women quarters and they be talking, and all of that, but Matt be playing the cool. Okay, so they in the men quarters, they trying to figure out who's seeing who. And then we have Johnny is over there playing chess by himself. Like he's like, all right, that's a good move, Johnny. Then he turns it around and he says, this is a good move. So, he playing it by himself. And I'm like, why not just ask one of the other guys to play with you? But I guess he didn't want nobody to throw his game off or what have you. So he said, I'm going to play it by myself. So we open up with Jeremy and Laura. Now, Jeremy wasn't on the first episode like that. The only thing he was on the first episode doing was messing with Matt a little bit, but he's actually going to be on the show. So he has a connection with Laura, okay? And he has a connection with Sarah Ann, but we'll get to her later. So he is in the room. He goes in the room with Laura, and he's like, who is this? And she's like, who do you think it is? And he's like, Sarah Ann. And she's like, oh my God, really? And he's like, no, I'm playing. I know it's you, Laura. No, he wasn't playing. He thought it was Sarah Ann. So Laura kind of got in her feelings for a little bit, but whatever. He says he loves Hawaiian shirts and everything. She says, what's the infatuation? He says because he has a thick neck and he don't like the average crew neck rubbing up against his neck. And so, scratching him and stuff. So he kind of goes towards Hawaiian shirts. Now, my observation of Jeremy is that I did not see a thick neck. His neck looks skinny to me. I was like, I don't see the thickness. Like when I think about a thick neck, I'm thinking about like a football player or something like that. But Jeremy didn't give me thick neck. So I don't know where he got that from. What else did he say? Laura said she has OCD. She says she needs to have a clean house and everything like that. Jeremy admits also that he has a little bit of OCD too. He said he don't like dishes to be left in the sink at night. He said they need to be cleaned out. He said he has 2 running vacuum cleaners, like those mini vacuum cleaners that run by themselves, which I'm definitely going to get me one of those. He said he has 2 vacuum cleaners that run. He said his house is immaculate. So they bonded over the fact that both of them have an OCD type order. They're both neat freaks, okay? Laura goes back after their date because that was the end of their date. They really didn't have much going on. She goes back to the women quarters and she begins to talk to the other girls about Jeremy and how she is connected with him and all of that. Then we have Sarah Ann and Jeremy. They now are up for their date. He joked that he called Laura her name, which still, I told y'all, I don't think that was a joke. I think he really thought it was Sarah Ann. And so he jokes with her, and she's like, oh, wow, no, you didn't. Hello. I'm sorry if I don't say your name right. Jetha? Selfie? Or Selly? Is it Jetha? I'm going to call you Jay. Hello, welcome to the live. I hate messing up people's names. I try. I do really try, but I hate messing up people's names. What's up, Jay? Welcome to the live. Thank you for coming in. We are reviewing Love is Blind Season 6. Okay, so what was I saying? So they are in the pods, her and Jeremy, they are having a conversation. They talked about what a day in a life would look like for the both of them, with each other. They was talking about who moves in with who. He was saying he rents a house right now. She said she has an apartment, so she probably will move in with him. And I'm just kind of like, y'all are talking about things as if y'all are going to choose each other, and you know this, or as if you are really moving into a marriage situation. If they have connections with two people, like most of these people do on the show, they have these two people connections. You don't know who the man is going to choose yet. Why are y'all having this conversation? I felt like this conversation could have waited, and it was not warranted to have right now. But they feel like they want to have the conversation. What else? That was really it with them. He said he feel like he can see a future with her. I think he is lying. Again, this is like day number 2. How already at day number 2, you've had maybe 2 dates with these people, unless I'm missing something. And in those 2 dates, how do you know that you really want to move forward with this person in life? You're saying you see a connection with them. You want to be with them. Shoot, I'm going to tell y'all what Johnny said to Amy a little later when we get to them. Actually, we're going to them next. So, Johnny and Amy is the next date up, y'all. Johnny's birthday is December 11th. My niece and my cousin's birthday is the 10th. So I thought that was interesting. Johnny's birthday is December 11th. Amy says she's an August baby. They're talking about Christmas celebration, how that looked like for them growing up. Amy says something about her family doing like a Three Kings or something in the Spanish community that they do. Johnny says he remembers the Three Kings songs that they used to sing when he was growing up. He asks Amy what is her biggest fear. They had a question box there to kind of break the ice with them. And so he asks Amy, what's your biggest fear? She says her biggest fear is that her brother is on the spectrum, right? He's on the autism spectrum, and she is afraid that the father has sole custody of him, but she's afraid that something will happen to her father and she would not be in a position to be able to take care of her brother, and that scares her that her brother would not be okay. She got emotional. She started tearing up about it. Johnny was like, I wish I could hug you right now. He was like, that is admirable of you to want to make sure that your brother is okay. And he wants to give her a hug and everything. And that's really the end of their date, okay? Johnny and Amy, like I said before, I feel like they are the only couple that I see making it in this experiment that they're doing, because it really is an experiment. I feel like they are the only couple that's going to make it. What is this in my hair? I thought I saw like a dot or something. My bad, y'all. So I feel like they're the only couple that's going to make it. They seem genuine. They seem like they really like each other. They seem like they have a connection. AD, we get to AD, we pan over to her. She's in the woman's quarter, and she's talking, saying she doesn't believe any of these men. She says and she's talking about Matt. Now, y'all know last episode, she found out that Amber, Matt's other connection, has heard the same things that he has been telling AD. So AD is telling Alejandra. Now, we're going to talk about Alejandra because I find her quite interesting and funny. She's not on the show, but I'm going to tell you something. Alejandra will find her way in every scene if you watch the show. She didn't make a connection with anybody to become one of the 5 couples, but Alejandra makes sure that she is in every shot. She's what I call atmosphere. She didn't make the show, but she's in the females' quarter to fill up the atmosphere, right? But she is at every shot talking to all of the chicks that have made the show. So AD's talking to her. And she's talking about she don't believe Matt. She also is saying that Clay is normally the type of guy that she falls for, right? He's the baller. He's the loudest one in the room. He's the one that she normally gravitates towards. But she says that it's something about him that is a red flag. But she says she likes to be Captain Save a Bro or Save a Ho or whatever she's trying to say. Okay, so then we pan over to AD and Matt. They go on their date, right? She is asking about his conversation with Amber because when she comes in there, he's not in there at first, and she's like, I don't know who gonna walk through this door, and of course it's Matt. That's a lie as well because I believe they know the day before or the hours before or whatever it is who they're gonna go out on a date with, and so she knew Matt was coming. Okay. Matt, she asks Matt about the conversation with Amber. Why does it sound familiar? Why does it sound similar? Matt says, it's not true. He said what he said to AD is deeper than what he said to Amber. He said when he said he wanted to call his mom and tell his mom that he has found the one that he wants to be with, that was legit and true, that he did not tell that to Amber. I don't believe him. So she says she really likes him. He says he really likes her. Matt is telling her how she feels mentally about the process. He's like, I know how you feel. You come on this show. You want to make a connection. You feel like you made a connection. You want to get proposed to. You want to run off into the sunset. All this stuff he is telling her. She's like, yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah, and she's agreeing to what he's saying. It's almost like he's telling her expectations from the show, right? So then, what else? He's scared she's having another connection. He asks her if she having another connection. And for the life of me, I don't understand why people on this show is shocked when they have another connection. Yes, they have another connection. They aren't dating. This is Love is Blind. You think they're going to come in there and meet one person and be like, okay, yeah, I'm with this one person. I'm connecting with them. No, they are not. They are dating multiple people. Of course, they're going to have another connection. He said he has to make a decision, right? He said he would choose her if he had to choose today. So he's sitting there and he's telling her, he says, he has to go in the men's quarter and he has to make a decision. He said he's going to make a decision. If he had to choose today, he would choose her. And I'm just like, whatever. So then AD stays in the pod, right? Because she's getting another date. She is having a date with Clay. Now, Clay comes in, right? Clay is this arrogant dude that think he is just the ish. He think he is God's gift to women. Clay comes up in there, right? And I don't know who told him that he is this unbelievably attractive, over the top type dude. But every show has a Clay. Like on Married at First Sight, I think the last season is uploaded on Netflix. The guy, Elijah Wan, if y'all ever got into Married at First Sight, he's similar to Clay. Like they had this narcissistic kind of over the top personality. They know how to talk a good game and lay on all these lines, but they a playboy at the end of the day, and they just really a gaslighter, and it's just a lot. I don't know why AD is even considering Clay, but again, I think people want to be on the show. I think if they talk to you and you don't annoy them and don't bother them that much, they'll probably text you and be like, hey, let's do this. Let's get this free trip to Dominican Republic and let's stay on this show. So Clay comes in, he apologizes to AD for asking her about how she looked. Y'all know the last episode he was hinting to, how do you look? I want to know how you look and all of that. And she was saying it defeats the purpose. AD says he sounds like every man she would go for, right? In her confessional, she said he sounds like every man. No, she tells him that, but she says the difference is that he's been open and honest with her and everything. Clay asks why she's emotional because she says that she's feeling away, she's emotional, right? And so she goes on to tell Clay what's going on with her, why she is emotional. Child, she talks about Matt, what he said to Amber. She thought it was going to be different, that they were going to have this connection and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, Clay snaps. because she was open about Matt. He asked why she had the emotions, and then he snaps off. He blows up, and he says, are you here for me? Are we doing this? What kind of triangle am I in? And woo woo woo. And he just goes off, and I'm just like, you're the one that asked her why she was emotional, and she's telling you. So she tells Clay that she has a connection with Matthew as well as him. And he's thinking to himself, he's like, Matt, who in the world is Matthew? Finally, he says, oh, you're talking about Matt? Weird Matt, in your book, Matt, not saying nothing, Matt. So he's like, you gotta be kidding me. He was telling AD she will regret it. She's not gonna want to be with that dude. He is not her speed. I mean, telling her all this stuff about him, short of telling her what he looked like, right? And I felt like that wasn't his place. He should have calmed down and understood that she has a right to have a connection with somebody else. Just because you want to be on the show and you ain't made a connection with no other chick, now you want to sit up here and make her feel bad about having another connection, and AD fell right into it, right? What else? She gets emotional while she's talking to him about it because Clay isn't understanding how she's feeling. He's blowing up, he's acting a fool with everything, and they were supposed to be talking, and they were supposed to be playing like a golfing game or something. They had like putt-putt golf in there, and he's all walking around the room with the stick, acting crazy, the whole nine. AD ends up getting emotional. She ends up saying, oh, I didn't mean to talk about him. I was just telling you why I was emotional and everything. He ends the date with her and says, we're going to have to talk about this later. And he was just the worst. AD leaves. She has her little cry inside the pods. She starts crying inside the pods. Then she decides to dry her eyes because AD is going to put on a poker face. She don't want people to know that she's getting emotional about this process and these men. So she dries her eyes. She goes into the women's quarter and she starts talking to Amber and tells Amber, no, she was actually talking to Alejandra. And Amber just happened to be sitting right there. And she was telling Alejandra, you know, these dudes are full of it. You know, a guy's asking me to leave with him. And so Amber stops and looks at her and was like, what do you mean a guy's asked you to leave with him? AD knew what she was doing. She knew because Amber told her on the last episode what Matt was saying to her. So she knew that they had heard both of the same conversation. But she was trying to talk to Alejandra so that Amber would kind of put two and two together and it'd be an issue. AD playing chess. While y'all playing checkers, AD over here trying to play chess because she's trying to stay on this show. So Amber is like, what are you talking about, Miss Ma'am? You need to spill it. Tell me what it is. So she begins to tell Amber everything that Matt has said to her. He has said also to AD. AD tells Amber, we both heard the same thing. What else, y'all? Hold on, y'all. Lost in my notes. Yes. So Amber at this moment had got humbled. Because y'all remember last episode, Amber was up in AD face like she had been proposed to, one Matt and everything. She up in her face talking about somewhere we shall see and all this other stuff. And she come to find out Matt up there laying the pimp game down on AD, the same thing he did with Amber. She got humbled real quick and apologized. AD gets up, gives her a hug and everything. They have a moment and Amber says, I can't do this. And she decided to leave the whole entire process. So Amber has went home. Amber's no longer on the show. Okay. Now we get to another couple, Kenneth and Brittany. Kenneth is 25. He is a African-American male. Brittany is 24 and she is a Caucasian woman. Now, we're going to get into them later on other episodes because I don't think they're going to work for several reasons. First of all, Kenneth told us that he has never dated outside of his race. Let me tell y'all something. I grew up in a not predominantly, all African American communities. I've went to elementary school, all African American, middle school, junior high school, and high school. My whole educational career has been within the community of my ethnicity and my people, right? No shade to no other ethnicity or race, right? But that's just all I've been around. So when I got to college, I finally started to intermingle with other races. Caucasian culture, Spanish, Asian, what have you, right? And so that was my first experience with them. And when I tell you awkward was a word, how I felt being in classes with different races, I felt awkward, really. And it was unbelievable because I was like, I don't understand why I'm feeling like this. Like, I felt like I could not have a conversation with them. I didn't connect with them, any of that, right? But when my culture of people came around, I felt more calm, more relaxed, was able to have more of a personality because I could only imagine that another race from the outside looking in is probably like, ugh, she's stiff still. She's not nice. But the thing is that I didn't feel comfortable. So for Kenneth to come on this show and make this connection with Laura, somebody outside of his race, I'm not saying you cannot make a connection, right? Because you don't see the person. You're in these pods and you're dating their personality, basically. You're dating their representative. However, Laura sounds like a white woman, just being 100. So he kind of knows that that's who she is. He knows that she isn't black, right? And so now you go from not ever dating outside of your race to going as far as marrying, because that is the hopes in this experiment, that they're going to propose to the person and marry them. So you jump from not dating to marrying somebody outside of your race, and that's why I think they are not going to work, because I'm going to tell you something. Soon as he bring her around his family, they're going to be like, bruh, what we doing? And I'm not saying that you cannot mix races, right? But there are some families that feel like black should stay with black, white should stay with white, and any other race should stay with any other race. It's not just families, people out there. I remember, sidebar, my grandmother told me when she was still living, God rest her soul, that I better not bring no white guy to her house. Saying I was in a relationship, and I was like, Grandma, what if I love the guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, we may love each other. She was like, I don't care. Love a black guy. So I'm saying all that to say their experiment and experience is going to be very interesting. Okay, so let's get into them. So he said he loves the fact that Brittany used to be a teacher and that she loves God, right? Because he is a principal. At 25 years old, y'all, he is a principal of a school. And when you think about it, it's like that's such a young age and you are a full-on principal. That's crazy. Good accomplishment, but kind of crazy. Okay, so he he shares with her that his mom died when he was 12 years old. They were talking about how they had to grow up a little quicker than they wanted to. And he says his mom died at 12. Um he says oh wait, she says mom died at 12, and she says that her father was, I think, an alcoholic, and I think he passed also. I didn't write exactly what she said down. His two strand twist. Let me tell y'all something. Kenneth has two strand twists in his hair. I don't know if he's trying to lock his hair or what's going on, but baby, Kenneth said, I'm about to be on Love is Blind and I need my hair laid. Kenneth two strand twist is so neat and tight, and I'm like, is this his actual hair or is this some hair added? Because it was so tight, crisp, and precise. I was just like, wow, Kenneth two strand twist. Hair goes, hair goes, right? So, what else? She said that she wants to be a submissive woman, right? She wants to be a submissive wife. She says she wants to be led. Okay, she wants to be led. She asked him how many kids does he want. He said two. She said, me too. I want two as well, right? And he says, what do you think about twins? So then we find out that Kenneth's mother is a twin. And she's like, oh wow. She said, my mother was a twin. And then Brittany gives us a story, a sad story about how her mother, her aunt, ended up dying in a car accident. She flew out of the car and everything, and she died on the actual highway. And then we also learned that Brittany, the mom, tried to have baby after baby and had miscarriages, and finally she got to Brittany, and God blessed her to be able to have Brittany. But she had Brittany on her birthday. So Brittany and her mom had the same birthday, which I thought this was a really interesting story. She also says that her mom says that she is her miracle baby, and she acts just like her sister. So she said her mom has never been alone and everything. And I thought that was such a heartfelt story Really something powerful that she shared. What else? What else? Let's get on. And that was the end of their day. Kenneth says that he's so happy that she shared that with him. And he said that is a testament of the goodness of God. The fact that she was able to be finally born and all of that. So I thought that was a great ending to their day. Then we get to Johnny and Amy again. Okay, they are having sushi. Okay, and they're talking, and Johnny slips up during their sushi date and says that he loves her, and he didn't mean to say he was about to say I like this about you, I like that about you, but he ended up saying I love this about you, love that about you. He paused and tried to catch himself, but she had already heard it, and she was like, oh my gosh, ditto, I love you too. And I'm just kind of like, he meant to say, you know how if you see somebody, right, and you be like, oh my god, I love your personality, that doesn't mean you love the person, like love how love is. That just means you like them, you think they're cool or whatever, but you may use the term love. I feel like that's what happened there. But you know, of course, she ran with it, and then he ran with it, and so now it's out there in the atmosphere, right? Um, what else? And that was it for them. That was really it for them. We move on to the next couple, which is Jimmy and Chelsea. Okay. She apologizes for getting emotional. Y'all know last episode she broke the news to Jimmy that she had been married before, really young. And so she got emotional because she felt like Jimmy's response was almost like, oh nah, I ain't trying to deal with nobody who already been married. So she said she apologizes for getting emotional. Jimmy said divorce isn't a deal breaker for him. Jimmy said the same thing to Jessica when she said she had a baby. He said that ain't a deal breaker. Now, the difference with these two women is that he lied when he lied to Jessica about her baby not being a deal breaker. Now that was a lie because that baby is a deal breaker. But with Chelsea, I feel like her divorce is not a deal breaker. I think he's telling the truth about that. So the question was asked, describe a perfect date. That's what Chelsea asked Jimmy. He said it's about going to the beach for him, and it's also about I'm going to a restaurant, and then after the restaurant doing some bow chicka wow wow. And that's a perfect day to him. That's all he wanted to do. And she was just laughing, and I was like, he sounds like my husband. Men are so simple. Because Jimmy say I am a simple guy, right? He says, listen, as long as you tell me you love me and that's it, and we laugh together, that's all I need. And men, some men are simple like that. They don't need a whole lot. I think us as women, we love the bells and whistles and going out and decorating and celebrating and all of that. And that's what makes a man and woman combination like that a really good thing, because you get the love of both worlds, you know. And so now we get into the kicker, y'all. Wait until y'all hear about this. So she asked him, is there a celebrity that you look like, that people say that you look like? And he was like, yeah. She didn't even give him time to answer what celebrity it was, because I was curious, because when I look at Jimmy, I don't see no celebrity. I really don't. I was curious to know who he was going to say. But then she turns around and says, well, people say I look like a celebrity. And he said, oh, really, who? Again, trying to give him an idea of how she looked, but it's love is blind and you're not supposed to do that, right? So she goes off and say, y'all, people say I look like Megan Fox. Now, if y'all don't know who Megan Fox is an actress. I know her from Transformers. Was it Transformers? Yes, it was Transformers she was in. And it was Transformers she was in. Beautiful girl, right? But Chelsea does not look like her. I could kind of see how she looks like her, like a little bit. If you squint your eye and you turn to the left and you kind of lean in, she might resemble Megan Fox a little bit, but I firmly did not see it. So as soon as she said Megan Fox, Jimmy was like, you look like Megan Fox. Jimmy was so excited because he was like, oh my God, if she looked like Megan Fox, because he said right away, like kind of under his breath, but she heard a little something. He said, oh my gosh, will you marry me now? And I'm just like, see, and that's what the issue is, because she thinks she looks like Megan Fox. But she did clarify and say, people say that, but I am not. She said, people say that, but I don't think it's true. Child, she gaslit Jimmy on that one. So now we move on to Jessica and Jimmy. They have a date, okay? Um, Jessica begins talking about her daughter before their date. She's in the women's quarter and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta meet with Jimmy. I miss my daughter, my Autumn and everything." And she's just kind of like emotional. And I'm like, Jessica, you need to go home. In my opinion, it to me seems like you really, really miss your daughter. You really want to be with her and everything. And this type of experience is not for you. Then we pan over to Jimmy. He in the men quarter and he said he's ready to be a husband, but he don't know if he's ready to take on a child. And I said, Jimmy, I can understand because you're already meeting a stranger within the hopes of marrying them in a short period of time. But this stranger is coming with a child, and now you jump into husband mode and stepdaddy mode. That for any man would raise up a red flag, right? So they end up getting in the pods, and she is crying to Jimmy, saying she misses her daughter once they get into the pods. Jimmy is saying, you can lean on me, about the situation with your daughter and all of that. Then he says, tell me about your daughter's personality. She talks about her daughter and everything, the personality. He asks, does she want to have more kids? And he said he don't mean that as no shade, but he just saying that his parents would really like to be, grandparents from him. And so she says, of course, she wants more kids. Asks how many siblings he had. Jimmy has 5 siblings, so he is 1 out of 6. He then reveals to her that his oldest sister is adopted. He said that his mom and dad was married to other people before. The mom husband died and the dad's wife died. So that's how they got together, right? And so because of that, the dad dying, and then I think the mom of his oldest sister died. So she ended up being the stepmom, of course, because she was married to his oldest sister's dad. So she ended up adopting her and taking her in. Jessica thought that was admirable and that she is a rock star, a superstar, and all of that. Jessica then reveals to us that she was also adopted as well because both of her parents were alcoholics and on drugs. No, they weren't alcoholics. I think they were on drugs. And she says her mom really spiraled. She never got back with her mom. Her dad, she ended up living with him for a period of time when she was like 4 years old, and then he committed suicide. I said, gee, her stories and things that happen with these people when they share these stories, I'm like, this is just amazing that life's in a way to people that we wouldn't even think, right? So the dad committed suicide, and then she had to go into the system. So she didn't get adopted until she was 16 years old. Then she turned around at 17 years old and got pregnant with her daughter. She said her mom is a superstar because had she not adopted her, her daughter would have belonged to the state. Like if she was still in the foster care system and got pregnant, her daughter would have belonged, thank you for the hearts, would have belonged to the state. Okay. That's their story. Then we get to, hold on, y'all. I take notes. If I'm looking down and y'all like, what is she doing? I'm taking notes. Okay, so we get to Trevor. Trevor says in the men's quarter that he knows who he want to be with. He said he knows already. What's up, Becky? Hello, how are you? I am awesome, awesome sauce. How are you? So Trevor says he know who he wants to be with. So then we get to Trevor and Chelsea, okay? Hello, hello. Chelsea then says when she sleeps, she has to have the air conditioner on and she has to have a fan on. Same, you said same. That's awesome. That is amazing. She says she has to have the air conditioner on and the fan on. Now, I am one of them people too that need a cool room to sleep in. Me and my husband have fans in our room. We need it to be a comfortable temperature in here. And I don't know how y'all feel. Drop in the comments for replay watchers and live watchers. Do y'all need fans in a cool space to sleep in? I know we do. We definitely do. He says he needs a cool room too. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Yay! Welcome to the family. Everybody, welcome Becky to the family. Replay watchers and live watchers. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I love you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so she says she imagines a large man lying on the floor, right? And that's what he's doing in his pod. And she says, you don't have like I think your hair is like short. She's like, maybe it's a mullet, right? And he starts laughing because he's like, can you see through here? And she's like, wait a minute, you have a mullet? And he's like, yeah, I got a mullet. Now, if y'all watch the show and y'all see Trevor has a mullet, but not in the way that you would think a mullet would be. When I envision a mullet, I think about longer hair and it kind of goes back that way. That is what I think of as a mullet, right? His hair is shorter and it has like a mini mullet. It's not like a mullet, but it is, you know. So she says she loves mullets. She is infatuated with mullets. So he says, are you mentally okay? Because who loves mullets? And she laughs about that. Then we get to Johnny and Amy, and we almost done, y'all. And I take a lot of notes on this show because I want to stay on track. Okay, so we get to Johnny and Amy. When she gets in her pod, there are flowers there waiting for her. Beautiful flowers. I'm a flower girl. Becky says, you also look beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Becky. Thank you. Amy's, I'm a flower chick too. Give me some flowers, and child, you have just given me a really awesome gift. Like, I love flowers. I love big, beautiful bouquets that you can put in vases and everything. I mean, I just love them. I'm the type of person that will buy flowers to put on the table every day, like, I mean, or every week, or every however long they last, week, 2 weeks, what have you. I'm a flower chick. So she had flowers in there, and she was like, oh, these are cute, they match my dress. And he then gets on one knee and he proceeds to ask Amy to marry him through the pies. Okay. She says, yes, of course. And then he says, I love you. I will see you later. She says, I love you too. He goes out and he does a heel click, like to the side, how you click your heels. Now, I love heel clicks. I've always wanted to do a heel click. I had tried it before and almost failed. So when he did it, I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. So yeah, I love a good heel click, but I can't do it. So then after that, that's this scene. Then we get to the women's quarter, y'all. Alejandra is in AD's face talking to AD, right? Thank you for the hearts. And Alejandra is saying, you know, AD is telling her, I gotta go meet with Matt and all of this and everything. And Alejandra is just there sucking up the attention of the screen time, because she said, even if I don't get chosen, I'm going to get every scene. So then we get down to AD and Matt. Okay, they're meeting for their date. Matt says he is going through it when he get in there, and AD is like, you're going through it, what's going on? AD is acting like she don't know what's going on. Matt is saying that he is distraught because Amber left. And he said, I guess that has something to do with me. AD says, oh, that's bold of you to think it has something to do with you. And he's like, I'm pretty sure it does. I broke her heart or whatever. AD trying to act like she don't know why Amber left. She knows that. AD tells Matt that she feels like she's being played. She says she feels like she's being played with. And Matt starts crying, I guess, because he turns to the wall. Becky said, I did it once, but I can't do it again. I envy you, Becky. I've always wanted to do a heel click. One day, I'm going to do a heel click. And watch, I'm going to try to record it, too, when I do it, so I can share it with y'all. But Matt starts crying, and I'm like, Matt is crying? I don't think Matt was really crying, because AD said, do you have a cold or are you crying? And he says, I'm just really going through it. And he was sniffing. But the personality that Matt has given us since this show has started, he does not give me a person that is up here, you know, actually getting emotional about this. He said he never felt this way about somebody like he does about her. And he says, hold on. Yeah, he said he never felt that way about somebody like he does about her. AD says she does have another connection. Okay, Matt said he is sorry that he cannot give her what she needs, and he's basically like, I'm done, I'm just going to bow out of this experience. And she's like, well, why are you going to bow out, and why are you emotional? Is it because of Amber? And he goes on and says, yeah, I broke Amber's heart, And AD was looking like, you only broke Amber's heart. What about me? But he did also say, and he broke her heart the day before. And so he said he just feels really bad about breaking people's hearts, I guess. He also says that America loves an underdog. And he says that he feels like America is on his side. And I'm like, why do you feel like America's on your side? Because you feel like you're the underdog or something? You feel like that America is going to get in AD's DMs or something and ask her to choose you? I don't know what he meant by that. AD said he sounds devastated, and he did confirm that he is because of Amber breaking her heart and breaking AD's heart. Then Matt said he's done. They left out of the room. Matt goes back to the men quarters. He walks past all the men and he don't say nothing. And he goes and he says, I'm done. He says, let me go find Amber. And I was like, wow, so you really did like Amber over AD, but you was just, I think what it is that when Amber left, he was like, well, let me go find Amber because AD has another connection here, so I'm not worried about her anymore. The last scene of the show, Johnny and Amy, they finally met. Remember, they got engaged, so they're getting ready to see each other for the first time. So she's behind her. Oh yes, Becky, that's what happened. She's behind her wall. Johnny's behind his wall. They're standing there and they're about to do the big reveal. They open up the pods and they see each other for the first time. They run to each other. They're kissing each other. They're having a moment and everything. Johnny gets on his knee and says, will you marry me? Gives her a ring. She accepts. They talk for a little bit. Then they part and they go back to the quarters, okay? Because they only see each other for maybe like 10 minutes. They allowed them to see each other. And that was it for episode 2 of season 6, y'all. So if you all do not watch Love is Blind and you're like, I really want to get to watch this so I can interact with me while I'm live at any point, go ahead and go on Netflix if you have it and click on season 6 and watch it, and that's what I am reviewing. It's a really interesting show, and it's going to get even more interesting because I'm doing 1 through 6. They've already dropped 7 through whatever. I haven't got to those yet because I want to review them episode by episode because I take a lot of notes and I don't want to be on here for 2 hours trying to give y'all a review on it. So y'all, thank y'all for joining me on the live. I really appreciate y'all. I will be on tomorrow doing episode 3. I'm trying to get caught up, so I'm doing daily lives, y'all. So I will be on tomorrow doing episode 3 of season 6. If it's your first time rocking out with me, make sure you give me a like. Hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. When you hit the like button, that tells YouTube that, hey, she is being liked by people. And so they put me on the timeline more, which can build my subscribers, which will in turn build my whole YouTube experience. Becky says, I have it. I'll watch it. Okay, cool. Yes. Tune in because it's very interesting. It is very interesting. So go ahead and hit a like on the way out, y'all. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We have a good time over here until we meet again, which will be tomorrow. And I might come on around like 3 o'clock, 3:30. Look out for me. Make sure your notification bell is on when you subscribe so that you can get alerted when I do go live. Okay. Thank y'all for joining me. Thank you, Becky, for joining the live. Thank you also to Jetta. I think it's Jetta for joining the live as well. I appreciate you all. Can I tell you a Ritz line? Can I tell you a Ritz line? I don't know what that means, Becky. I don't know what a Ritz line means. But go ahead and still put it in the comments when I end the live what you mean, and then I would definitely respond to you. I do like to respond within when people comment. I may give it a heart or I may respond. But I thank y'all for joining me. We always have a good time over here. Y'all enjoy y'all Thursday until we meet again. Bye now. Bye y'all.